dreams, make it happen today. No matter your age, rise and shine. Live boldly, live authentically. It's your time to rise and shine. Empower life with Cleopatra. Awaken the best version of you. Your journey starts today. You've got one life to live. Love yourself, be kind to others, break free and let your spirit soar. Empower life with Cleopatra will help you awaken the best version of you. Empower life with Cleopatra. Empower life with Cleopatra.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. You know how we do it. Put something in the chat. Let me know you're here. Hey, Riri, thank you so much for joining. Happy New Year, my darling. How are you feeling now? Hope you're feeling much better. Kisses to you, my love. Ryan, hi, Ryan. Happy New Year, my darling. How are you? Hope you're okay. Listen, it's a good one tonight. It's a good one. Hi, Robin. Happy New Year, boo boo. How are you? Robin says, Happy New Year, Cleopatra, Riri, and everyone. I hope we all do everything right this year and don't lose anything. In fact, we all gain lots. Yes, we do. Maureen, good evening, sis. How are you? Gosh, it's a full house. Honestly, I love you all so much. You have no idea. Thank you so much for joining. Listen, I'm just going to get into it because this gentleman has three. Dr. Sunny, hi. Thank you so much for joining. Love you, love you, love you. This gentleman has three stories in one. And I'm going to talk a little bit later about these confessions that I keep receiving. Yeah, I'll talk about it now because I appreciate the confessions. But let me just start, first of all, with the introductions. If you're joining me for the first time, welcome, because I know there's quite a few people in the chat. So if you're joining for the first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. And guys, I would like to also request you guys, please always come back and watch this show again. Yeah, just to help with the ratings and the viewership and the numbers and stuff like that. And always give a thumbs up. Not even during the show is good, but after the show, give it a few minutes, maybe like 5-10 minutes, so that it can process because I don't stream directly in YouTube. I stream via platform, so it needs to connect with each other. So if you come back and make comments, come back maybe about 5-10 minutes later so that it will remain on the chat. Yeah. But welcome, right? This space is for honest conversations, right? It's a place for growth without judgment. Yeah, that's why we do these confessions. We don't judge, all right? We advise. And I need you, my royals, tonight to actually advise, even though this person has said this is what they're going to do as part of their New Year resolution. But whatever ideas you have, they would really, really appreciate it. So please put it in the chat. Like I said, this chats disappear after the live show. I don't know why YouTube does that. But please come back again and put it in the chat just so that they can come back and read all the advice you have for them, right? So please, like I said, subscribe, like, and share and everything. Um, can I just say this conversation for tonight, this story, like I said, is three stories in one. So it's layered. It's a personal story that he's sharing, and it speaks to many of us, especially those of us who've been loving. You love without reservations, you work hard, you're very trusting, you try to do the right thing all the time, and you're carrying a lot of weight, whether it's emotional, whether it's just physical, whether it's relational, whatever, but you just have a lot of burdens in your heart, but you still try to do your best as a human being. you know um It's for every one of us, right? Because I can empathize with some of the things he has said. All right. And I think by the time we all listen to it, it will reshape. Actually, that's why I wanted to do this show now. It will reshape your 2026 in terms of how you maybe see things and maybe your resolution. All right. So let's begin. This is a confession from a man who did everything right and still lost everything. So, like I said, in December of last year, I received an email from this gentleman. His name is Simon. That's what he told me his name is, and he gave me permission to use his name, just his first name, not the surname, right? So, his name is Simon. So he sent me this email, and he said to me that I should please share it. I thought I would wait and do it during my confessional series, but I thought no, I'll just share it now because it's really good for the new year. Right. This is his story. My name is Simon. I'm originally from Sierra Leone, but I've lived in the UK for over 20 years. Long enough to build a life, long enough to believe I understood myself, long enough to think emotional maturity would protect me. I want to begin my story from January 2025, he says. It was 4 minutes past 6 in London. The sky outside was still dark, heavy with winter silence. My phone vibrated on the bedside table before my alarm went off. It wasn't a call, it was an email. 3 lines, no greetings, no warmth. We need to talk later. I stared at the screen longer than I should have. Not because I was confused, but because my body already knew what my mind didn't want to admit. My chest tightened, my stomach sank. But I didn't panic. I already knew why. Her name was Ugochi. We met a few months earlier at a wellness retreat in Nottingham. She sat across from me, legs folded neatly, sat straight, calm in a way that felt deliberate. When she spoke, she looked directly into my eyes, not aggressively, steadily, like she was truly listening, like she saw me. We connected almost immediately. The conversations were deep from the start: childhood, relationships, trauma, growth. She said she admired how self aware I was, how reflective, how emotionally intelligent I was. I felt seen. I felt respected. I felt chosen. In the beginning, it felt like a partnership between two people doing the work. But slowly, so slowly, I didn't notice at first, the balance shifted. Self awareness stopped being something she appreciated. It became something I was measured by. If I said something hurt me, she would tilt her head slightly and say calmly, "Have you thought about where that's coming from?" If I questioned her behavior, her tone, her distance, she would sigh gently and say, "I think you might be projecting." If I raised my voice even a little, just a little, her body would go still, her face calm, and she would say, "You're dysregulated right now." She never shouted. She never insulted me. She never lost control. She stayed calm. I felt smaller and smaller. I began watching myself when I spoke to her, replaying every conversation in my head before I even opened my mouth, softening my tone, choosing my words carefully. I started doubting my instincts. Every disagreement felt like an exam, and somehow I was always the one being corrected, always the one evolving. He stayed always right. Then there was Theo. She introduced him casually as her therapist. Married, emotionally grounded, always available for her. The messages from Theo didn't come during the day, they came late at night. I'd be lying in bed next to her, the room lit dimly by a single lamp. She would turn slightly away from me, phone close to her chest. Long long voices, long notes. When I asked who she was talking to, she'd say, "Oh, it's just Theo. He helps me process. We have so much in common. He gets me." The silence between us grew heavier, colder. I began to feel like a background character in my own relationship. The night I confronted her, we were sitting in her living room. She sat on one end of the sofa, legs crossed, hands neatly folded. I leaned forward, my heart pounding. I didn't know how I was going to say it, but I knew it was time for me to speak up. I told her how her behavior made me feel, how the late night messages with Theo crossed the line. She listened calmly. Then she said softly, "I didn't cheat." She paused. "I just outgrew the version of you that's still healing. Because you seem to have a lot of emotional baggage, and I'm tired of babysitting you." "Babysitting me? How? What exactly have I done?" I asked calmly. "I've always allowed you your freedom. I avoid arguments. I treat you with love and respect. I don't understand what you mean. Where's all this coming from?" Without apology, without hesitation, without care, she said, "If you want to leave, feel free." And in that moment, something inside me finally went quiet. No racing thoughts, no urge to explain myself, no need to defend my intentions, just clarity. Everything became clear. That night, after I left her flat, I didn't cry. I walked home slowly, cold air biting my face, hands deep in my coat pockets. And for the first time, I told myself the truth I had been avoiding. That emotional intelligence doesn't protect you from emotional manipulation. That calm doesn't always mean safety. And that staying silent isn't maturity. It is self-erasure because you lose who you are. At 2:17 a.m., sitting alone in my living room, I made a decision. Not out of anger, not out of pride, but out of self-respect. I decided to leave. Not because she asked me to, not because I was rejected, but because I finally understood this. Love should not require you to disappear in order to be tolerated. The next morning, I sent one message to her. "I am choosing to step away," I said. "This relationship no longer feels emotionally safe for me. I wish you well." Guess what? She didn't reply. For the first time since I met her, neither did I. I didn't bother pursue it. Now, I worked as a senior operations manager in Canary Wharf, glass building, river view, a security pass around my neck, proof that I mattered. Even though my woman has left me, I still had something to hold on to. 9 years of loyalty. In February 2025, they introduced Daniel, loud, confident, but underqualified. I corrected his mistakes quietly. I protected his reputation discreetly. But July, he was promoted. In August, my manager said, "You are too valuable where you are. We can't promote you. We love you. The fact that you do so much where you are, we can't promote you." 9 years reduced to a folder. When HR called me and said they were restructuring and they gave me a severance package of 6,800, I thanked them. That night, I stayed at my walls. I just stared at my walls for 3 hours, wondering what I did wrong. Somebody who I had been protecting all this while was now my boss, and I had been sacked. So I decided to invest the 14,300 that I had in my bank account into a business idea, branding, coaching, strategy, but I never launched it. I waited. I thought, let me plan. So I planned and I kept planning. I would tweak the business plan and I would tweak and I would tweak. Got to a point where I felt I needed somebody to walk me through just to make sure that everything is okay. I trusted my best friend Abel for guidance. And then he told me to take my time. Months passed. Then I saw Abel launched my idea. That's when the truth hit me. I had been betrayed. But my indecision made it possible. Couldn't even cry. I wasn't suicidal. I was numb. In therapy, I had to get therapy. I finally said it. If I stopped analyzing my pain, I will have no excuses left. I realized that kindness without action can cost you everything. The turning point came when I realized I only had 43 pounds in my account. No job, no relationship, no business. And we were at the end of December 2025. And I decided 2026 will not be about pleasing people. It would be about alignment. I stopped waiting. I stopped being indecisive. I stopped trying to explain myself. I stopped trying to be liked by everyone. If it cost me my comfort, so be it. I was going to be more decisive from now on. That was my decision. End of story. My royals, this was the story from Simon. Now, please make your comments. Make your comments. What do you think about his decision? And what do you think he got the wrong end of the stick? You think you got the wrong end of the stick. Mr. Solomon, thank you so much for joining. Kingsley, thank you so much. Kingsley, Happy New Year to you. Thank you so much for joining. Guys, what do you think about Simon's story? Because I felt like crying for him, right? And I have my 2 cents of advice later, even though he's decided on what he's going to do. But I think your input will really help him out. But before I even give my advice, can I just say to everyone who is sending me confessionals, I've received a lot already. So there's quite a lot of materials for confessionals. But I just wish that you guys would hopefully do the confessionals yourself, right? You can cover yourself with a blanket or something if you don't want to be seen. There are voice altering applications that you can put on your phone or on your laptop that you can use to record so that nobody knows who you are, nobody sees your face, nobody knows who you are, and you can just do the confessional. Because if it will be nicer if it came from you guys as opposed to you sending them to me and then I'm reading them. I know it's exciting and I enjoy it, and I know my royals enjoy it, but if you guys would do the confessionals yourself, it'd be better. Can even send you a mask if you want, So I would appreciate if you guys can at least, even if it's 1 or 2 people, just send me a confessional with yourself. Then that would really, really, really be nice. But I feel for Simon. Simon, I really feel for you. I feel for you for the fact that you were in a relationship where the woman seemed to be kind of like if I would say emotionally, Ugochi was her name. I don't know if I would say she was emotionally manipulating you because, she always seemed to have an answer for every single thing that you would say or do. So you ended up having to pussyfoot around her and, trying not to say trying to say the right things and not to offend her because she's going to analyze everything you say. And that's not a good place in a relationship. That's not a good place to be in a relationship, right? So Mr. Solomon says he just went through the University of Life and has developed maturity. Yeah, I guess, because now he's made decisions. Because not only did his girlfriend disrespect him by the way she was patronizing, I guess she was quite patronizing and condescending to him, but his own friend betrayed him, right? And then even at work, now I can empathize with him with the work situation because that has happened to me quite a few times. You try to help people out, they turn around and be the ones that are fighting to take your place. right? I remember a situation for me actually when I was heading a team of business analysts. So I was the business analysis manager, and I had somebody working for me. And during the appraisals, I remember asking this person. I said, where do you see yourself in 2, 3, 4 years time and all that? And the person looked at me right in my face and said, "I want your job. I want your job." And I'm thinking, this is somebody that I have been coaching, coaching, coaching. I didn't know that she was trying to get all my skills, acquire as much information as she can so that she can do whatever she could to get my job. Okay. So I can understand the work situations. There are people that can be very manipulative and everything. But do you think it was too nice? Do you think it was too nice? Do you think that there is a place for being, a bit, mean? Because the society seems to prefer people who are a bit meaner, I guess. Do you think so? What are your thoughts? You know, I mean, my advice really to Simon is like, his story is not about bad luck, if you ask me. It's about lessons that many of us only learn the hard way. From Ugochi's perspective, I think he learned that not everyone who speaks the language of healing is actually safe. Because when they keep projecting and keep seeing all the things that you've done wrong, and they are always right, there is a problem. That relationship is not balanced, right? Because if your feelings are constantly being analyzed, being corrected, or dismissed, that's not growth. That is control that is dressed up as calm. That's emotional manipulation, if you ask me. If you have to shrink, if you have to soften or second guess yourself just to keep the peace, you are definitely not in a healthy relationship. You are in a managed relationship. And nobody has ever had a successful managed relationship because it takes two people who want to actually be in a relationship to be in that relationship. I don't know if you guys agree with me. If you do, please put it on the chat, right? And then from Theo's perspective, which is the guy that his girlfriend was now always talking to, right? Like, emotional boundaries matter just as much as physical boundaries. If a third person has emotional access to your partner in ways that you don't, the relationship is already compromised. Even if no one calls it cheating, because she said, "Oh, I wasn't cheating. I didn't cheat." But where you spend night time having long conversations, sending long notes to another man when you are lying with your boyfriend in bed, there is a problem. There's definitely a problem, right? Because trust, your instincts when that happens. Yeah, trust the fact that you are not comfortable with that kind of relationship, right? Because you're not being insecure. You're just being disrespected. All right. And you should, I didn't see anything wrong with him trying to explain to her that, look, I don't know, I don't appreciate this, but instead she was mean. So did she even love him in the first place? That's the question. Did she even love him? I can't really say that she loved him. Honestly, I can't say. Pumi, thank you so much for joining. Dr. Sunny says, I feel for Simon, but it will be more balanced in my view from the other side. I know, right? But I don't know whether she even watches this show. She's in London. Well, Simon is in London, so I'm assuming that she's in London as well. If she's watching, Ugochi, if you're watching, you want to give your own side of the story, please feel free. Right? Send me an email, empowerlifewithcleopatra@gmail.com. Empowerlifewithcleopatra@gmail.com. Please send me an email and talk about your side of the story. Because, like Dr. Sonia rightly said, it takes two to make or break a relationship. And there's always, well, I always say there's three sides to a story, right? Your side, your partner's side, and then the truth. But still, we still want to hear your own side of the story, Ugochi. So please, feel free to to share your story with us, right? Feel free, please, to share your story. And then in terms of his career, I think what he's learned in this career is like loyalty without leverage is disposable. Okay. You may be loyal and everything, but if you may be, reliable, you may be patient and quietly competent, but it does not guarantee protection. It doesn't guarantee that your job is going to be waiting for you. Because what happened, despite all these 9 years loyalty, not only was he sacked, the person that he was actually covering up his mistakes now took his position. I mean, how hurt would he be? Like somebody that you were covering up for, trying to make him look good, somebody that you were actually coaching came and took your role. And then not only he did take your role, they gave you a severance package of just after 9 years, they give you £6,800. After 9 whole years. I honestly, I can't even imagine, but if you keep giving, the problem with him was that he was always giving, but he didn't know what it is to negotiate. Because if you know you keep giving and you know the value you add to your company, it's good to always at least speak up and say to your employers, this is what I've done, this is what I've done, especially when you are being appraised, so that you can even negotiate a higher salary or even a promotion. But if you're just sitting down quietly trying to be the good guy, people like what's his name will come and take over your role because you're too quiet. And remember what your line manager said, Simon. Your line manager said, you're too nice and you're very valuable where you are. So we can't afford to promote you because nobody will be as good as you in this role. So you remain at the low level just because you're too good there. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Right? But visibility matters, positioning matters, and silence is never a strategy when it comes to whether it's your relationship or your work situation or even in business, because you talked about your business. And let's talk about the betrayal from Abel, your friend, right? I think you learned from this that not everyone who supports your idea wants you to succeed first before them. I'll take it again. Not everyone who supports your idea wants you to succeed first. All right. And indecision creates an opportunity, right? But this opportunity is not for growth, but it's for exploitation. Because exactly what happened, what happened with Abel, he betrayed you. He took your idea and he ran with it. And then you didn't even blame me, you blamed yourself, which you should, rightly you should. Why would you even share your ideas with people? I know what's happened to me because I've been there before, and I can understand what you're doing because you trust somebody enough to share your ideas. And sometimes they will poo-poo it and tell you, oh, this is difficult for people to do. So you won't even blah, 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 blah. Before you know it, they've already started doing something similar. So I know that. But that's why I think one of the things that the pastor was speaking this morning was about learning to keep quiet. Keep quiet. When it comes to things like this, your relationships, your business ideas, your proposals and everything, commit it to God. Keep quiet and let God help you to build and to grow. Because if you want to share with somebody, you have to be very, very careful. Pray about who you want to share it with because you just don't know the heart of people. All right. And all I can say to you, Simon, because you've learned now, but preparation without action it's delay. It's not wisdom. You're setting yourself up for failure. You have to act on your plan. You just can't keep waiting. And delay can cost you more than failure ever will, because delay, what do they call delays? Procrastination, isn't it? All right. So, I guess we've learned something from that, right? Um, Thank you, Bumi. You said you watched the replay too. Yes, please watch the replay. And everyone, please come back and watch the replay just to help me with my numbers. And also always like as well. Always like it, right? Always like, and please always share it as well. That would really help me. Guys, I'm sad I have to say, I've not achieved my goal. yet in terms of the subscription. Yes, I know that the numbers are not bad, but we can do better. Please share. When I send you all these links, it's not because I'm just, I want you to share it with other people and encourage them to also subscribe to the channel, please. Yeah. Riri says, you have to be a man and be firm and stand up for yourself, no matter the circumstances, and take control and move on with your life. Absolutely. One thing I know about women, women don't like men who are not confident. Women don't like men who cannot take action. Women don't like men who are indecisive. Women don't like men who are not courageous. Women don't like men who are not bold or brave. My ladies, my queens on the chat, please, if I'm wrong, please say I'm wrong. If I'm right, please say I'm right. Because seriously, I for one, I know that for a fact about myself. My man has to be correct. You have to be confident. I need somebody. Look, listen, I'm an alpha female, right? I'm a strong woman, right? But I understand what it is to submit to a man, right? And I'm all for submitting to my man, and I will submit to my man. But you have to give me something to submit to. You have to give me something. I'm not going to submit to a man who cannot make up his mind. I'm not going to submit to a man who doesn't even have a vision. How can I walk with you if I don't even know what your vision is? If you're not even confident, right? I have to submit to a man who I know his vision and I can see that he's working towards that vision. And I know that I will help support that vision to bloom and to blossom, right? So this is for the New Year resolution for men and even for us women. Let's be more decisive when it comes to decisions regarding our relationships, our careers, our finances, everything that concerns our lives. Let's not just keep dilly-dallying, procrastinating. I have a course that I've registered for how many years ago? I still haven't done it, or just procrastinating, not making things happen. 2026 is a new year. There is a lot that we can still achieve this year, and I pray that God helps us to achieve them, right? Mr. Solomon says he was a nice guy, and nice guys always lose out. At work, he played the nice guy too, covering up for someone he should have exposed at work. That could have backstabbed him. Yeah, like I said, nice guy seems to lose when it comes to things like this. And but isn't that the world though? I don't even think it's just him. I think this is the world we live in nowadays because the good people seems to always lose out. Trust me, I can relate. The good people seem to lose out, and the mean people seem to always be, well, the bad ones always seems to be the ones that progress, that seems to make it. I don't understand why nowadays wrong is right and right is wrong. I don't get it, but that seems to be the case now, where if you're bad, people celebrate you. People worship you. You are a celebrity. If you do the bad things, the more bad you are or the worse you are, the more people adore you. If you're nice, people don't want to know. People don't want to know if you're good because who good help, they would say. I don't understand. Priscilla, thank you so much for joining, sis. She says 100% correct. Yes. Let your comments keep coming in. And please always, like I said, come back later after the show to comment as well, right? Guys, this is my thoughts for Simon. Keep what you think he's going to do, please. What you think he should do going forward, please put it in the chat as well, right? Like for New Year's resolution, I think for me personally, this is for me that I'm going to also say, and as I say it to myself, I say it to Simon as well, right? The real resolution for me this year, and for Simon and anybody else who probably agrees with me, is that stop trying to explain your boundaries. If you're in a relationship and somebody doesn't appreciate you, doesn't value you for who you are, doesn't respect you, set your boundaries. Or if that boundary has been crossed, walk away. This is not the time to tolerate nonsense from people. Okay. I am going to do a show. I don't know if I'm going to put it in my my health and wellness session, or I'll do it as a live show where I'll be talking about 25 signs that you would know whether somebody actually resents you or not. If you want me to do it as a live show, please put it on the chat. If you want me to do it as a live show, it's going to be a show about 25 signs that you would use to know whether somebody actually likes you or they hate you. Certain things that they will say or do will make you know, and have about 20, maybe about 20 or 25, I don't know yet, that you would use to know how these so-called friends actually feel about you. So if you want it to be a live show, put live. If you want it to be, I'll just drop it as a health and wellness session on my other podcast on Thursdays. Put it on the chat as well, right? So stop explaining your boundaries. All right, stop waiting to feel ready when it comes to you having to achieve something or do your business, whatever decision you have to make in terms of your projects, your proposals, your plans, or whatever. Stop waiting to feel ready. I think there was actually, that reminds me. I did a little clip on TikTok some time ago, and I said, "Stop waiting to be ready." All right. I think Ryan, if you remember that, stop waiting to be ready. Right. Just start. You can start. Start stupid. You may not even know what you're doing. You will make mistakes. you know, things may not even go quite right, but just start anyway. You will learn as you go along. You learn from those mistakes, and you will continue to prosper. All right. And stop confusing healing with, oh, progress. Oh, somebody tells you about this, like the girlfriend was telling him nonsense, and trying to make him feel like he needs to do some work. He's got emotional baggage. She says, what emotional baggage, right? Listen, if you've just all I would say is that choose relationships where both of you, accountability flows both ways. You are both accountable for each other. All right. Not when one person tells you that they can do whatever they like, you don't have the right to question them. That's not a relationship, right? And in terms of your work environment, Simon, I will say to you, right, choose work environments where your value is visible. Not only is your value visible, but it is rewarded as well. But the only way you can be rewarded sometimes is to actually give yourself a shout out. Trust me. Let people know what you've done. Let people know your accomplishment. Let your boss know. Let HR know. Let people know. Because if you don't, I used to have a boss who would take the glory. I do the work, I hand it over to them. I won't say him or her because, in fact, I've had it more than one or twice in some places I've worked before, right? I hand it over to them because I wanted to make them look good. They will take the glory. Nobody will remember, nobody even knows it's me because I will not say anything. But I'm the one that did the job, though. I did the job, but they got the glory. Oh, this person did this, and I'm thinking, about, did it though? This was me. But I didn't say anything. But I've learned now. I've learned to give myself a shout out to say, no, 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 I did this, not you. I did it, right? So be courageous enough to give yourself a shout and pat yourself on the shoulder because when you understand your pain, when you understand what you're going through, when you understand yourself, you change your life. You start having to make the right decisions. All right. And stop always having to plan. Just act, just do it. Right. um oh, Mr. Solomon says to do a live show. Okay, okay, I should do a live. Do you guys agree? Should I do a live show about 20 or 25 signs to know if somebody likes you or they actually cannot stand you, but they are pretending, like all those frenemies and stuff like that? If Mr. Solomon has said live, if you all want live, type live on the chat, please. Type live because one person has said yes. I've not heard from anybody else yet. So put live if you want live. And if you want me to do it as a Thursday show, then fine, I'll drop it in a video and I'll do it as a Thursday show. All right. But I want your comment because at the end of the day, this is our show. This is not my show. It's what you guys want as well. And we go with the majority. Okay. So my royals, this is where we are going to leave it tonight. All right. I always try as much as I can to keep my shows under an hour, except when I have guests. And when I have guests, then obviously it will probably be more than an hour, maybe an hour and a half. But Yeah, let me know what you would like me to talk about this new year. Do you have any ideas on what I should talk about in my next shows or going forward? I already have some shows planned, but I can always swap and change and just tell me if you have any ideas at all on the shows that you want us to do. Please put it in the chat for me as well. Or send me an email, empowerlifewithcleopatra@gmail.com, or send it to my WhatsApp. Most of you have my WhatsApp number, okay? Send me on WhatsApp whatever show. Don't even worry about whether it's crossing boundaries or not. We don't care here. We just say it like it is, okay? Just send me an email or send me a message, send me a text, whatever, to let me know what you would like to see me do this, going forward as the next show. What topics, what subjects, what areas would you like to see more of? And I'll be happy, very happy to oblige you, my royals. I'll be very happy to oblige you because your wish is my command, my royals. Oh, Maureen says live. Dr. Sonny says live. So it's going to be a live show. Okay. We'll do it. We'll do it. But I need your comments. I need you to always come back and comment on that because that's going to be a good one. And then actually, I will do another show as a part 2 of that. And I'm working on that as we speak as well. Because honestly, the sort of stuff that happened in 2025 and previous years, this year and going forward, we are older, we should be wiser. We're not going to tolerate certain things and certain so-called friends, or relationships. It doesn't even have to be acquaintances or relationships that are toxic. You don't have to remain in a toxic relationship, whether it is, just ordinary acquaintance or your colleague at work or relationship or friend or whatever. If that relationship is giving you grief, you don't have to be there. You do not have to be in a relationship that you feel stressed about. God forbid. Not me, not now, not at this time of my life. No way. So yeah. I'm so chuffed that you guys want it to be a live show, and we will do it as a live show then. No problem at all. So my royals, like I said, we're gonna leave it here. Thank you so much for watching. If this message has spoken to you, please like this video. Like it now as we speak. Actually, like it now. Like it now. If you want to do a confessional, please. If you want me to send you maybe apps that you can use to disguise your voice, please let me know and I will send it to you. Just do a video. It doesn't even have to be a long video. Just do a video and just share your confession or whatever, and I'll be happy to play it, and then we can talk about it later, right? So, like I said, like this video, subscribe to Empower Life with Cleopatra, share with somebody, and please leave your comments. My brothers, let's enter 2022 and 2026 wiser, braver, more confident, and let's try and be a blessing to somebody as well. Okay, so thank you once again for joining me, my royals. I love you so much, and just thank you. Thank you and thank you. Honestly, I really am grateful for you always supporting me. I cannot thank you enough. Please continue to support me. I need you guys. I need you on this channel, all right, to continue to support me. So thank you so much. I will see you next week if the Lord permits. Next week, actually, let me just give you a little nugget. I had a show on sleep apnea. All right. That show actually has quite a lot of views. Somebody who suffers from sleep apnea, who almost died from sleep apnea. In fact, not only one person, quite a few people reached out to me about that show. I didn't know it was going to have so much impact. I had no idea. Somebody reached out to me. In fact, about 3 or 4 people reached out to me, right? And they were telling me that they'd like to be on the show. Right? But it was only about one person actually that finally confirmed, because the others were going to go away and stuff like that. So it was only one person that confirmed that he can do next week. So he is coming next week to share his experience about how he almost died from sleep apnea and all the stuff that he had to go through and everything else, and how he's able to cope with it now. So that would probably help somebody. I definitely know quite a few people, that this will help, because I know quite a few people who are suffering from sleep apnea. Yeah. So thank you all for watching again, and I love you guys. Have a lovely week. Until next week, be bold, be kind, Be empowered, okay? Look after yourself. I love you guys. Mwah. Bye for now. Take care. Have a lovely week.
Empower life with Cleopatra. Awaken the best version of you. Unlock your true potential. Empower your mind, body, and soul. Live with intentions, live with a purpose. Empower your dreams, make it happen today. No matter your age, rise and shine. Live boldly, live authentically. It's your time to rise and shine. Empower life with Cleopatra. Awaken the best version of you. Your journey starts today. You've got one life to live. Love yourself, be kind to others, break free and let your spirit soar. Empower life with Cleopatra. Will help you awaken the best version of you.